Hello everybody, we are back live again this week. It is Thursday afternoon, 1 o'clock. That means we're here to talk fish. We've got lots of it to talk about this week.
It's true.
And I've got this lovely man with me, Quinn. He is the assistant manager at our Minneapolis store. So you may have seen his face around a few times if you happen to come in. Yeah, so we're going to have some fun today. You may have seen if you get the newsletter and the specials. Oh, also I'd like to mention, this is the first time in many ages that we're going live on both Facebook and Instagram. So welcome Instagram. We are now including you in our weekly live stream. So welcome, welcome. It's good to have you. Again, as per usual, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them out. We'll do our best to try to answer them. It's going to be kind of hard to read from here. So we're going to do the best we can. Next week we will have a way to monitor all of your questions, so we'll be able to address them pretty easily. Either way, basically, throw out what you got, and we'll get to them, whether it's during or after. We will definitely get in on it. So this week, plenty of specials. What do we got?
We have a brand new smoked salmon from Duluth, a company called Northern Waters. It smokes some sockeye for us.
For just a minute.
It is delicious, super flavorful, really nice smoky, intense flavor. I know all the monitors at the shop are really into it right now. We are throwing out samples of it throughout the day. We can cut, it's really nice because it's in the side, so we can actually like cut it to a certain weight rather than the normal like pre-cut pieces we normally have for everything else.
It's very awesome.
We have the pink ribbon oysters, which is really nice.
Those are cool. Those are really, really cool. $1.25 each. And they're special because
they actually donate to the Breast Cancer Foundation. All their proceeds, or a portion of their proceeds, go to supporting that, which is super awesome because I think it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yep.
So that's I think super awesome.
It's a really cool oyster. It's really cool that they go and do that. I'm going to do a little adjustment here. Looks like, there we go.
Got it?
We're back.
We're
Sorry, Instagram. We're back. Again, those pink ribbon oysters, very cool. $1.25 each. And what happens is when we buy them, a percentage of those proceeds then go to the breast. So that's already been taken care of, but like we help support it. Come on in, pick some up. It's a good dozen to have. They're really nice oysters. It's a good East Coast oyster, so real crisp, clean, everything you want, and all for a good cause. So very awesome. We also have, and I'm going to get this going now. Saw me pull this kind of pan off because we're going to get cooking. So one of the things we've got on special this week is this really awesome Superior Fresh salmon. This is actually a locally raised salmon out of Hickston, Wisconsin. It's gorgeous. You can kind of see in there, the fat on there is really nice. This is a really nice, beautiful Atlantic salmon. And this is something that we've got in this month, basically in honor of National Seafood Month, because it is also that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to kind of go over this and show you how to get a really nice crispy skin and get a good sear. As you noticed, I got this pan really, really hot, which is going to be key. I also patted the fish dry before we got started. You don't want it wet. That's going to kind of hinder the getting the crispness of the skin. And what winds up happening is that water and the liquid on the fish starts to evaporate and starts to steam the fish instead of sear it. So that's really not what you're looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some salt and I'm going to give it a pretty good seasoning. And then I'm going to add some olive oil to the pan, or vegetable oil would work. Just a touch. Give it a little bit of a swirl around. And I'm going to take the fish, and when you put it into the pan, you want to lay it away from you. And I don't know if you can hear that sizzling, but that's what you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of hold it down for a quick minute here and let that skin really make some tight contact with the pan. Otherwise, if you don't do this, what will happen is it'll start to curl, and that's not great because then it's not making even kind of flat contact, which is really what you need.
Smells good.
So what we're going to do is we're going to just let this go. I'm literally not going to touch it. I'm going to let it sit here, and I'm going to let it cook about 2/3 of the way on this side, again, without touching it at all. Just going to let it do its thing, let that skin get nice and crispy, I'm going to season the top as well from up here. And we're just going to let it go. Again, the key to cooking fish, a lot of times people get scared. So they're like, what if it sticks? What if it does whatever? Well, if it sticks, that's fine. Let it continue to stick. Just let it sit there, because eventually what will happen is that skin will crisp, and when it crisps, it'll release from the pan. Exactly. So again, it's just kind of about letting it go, do its thing. Don't be afraid of it. Just let it go. Kind of see. Oh, it's going a little bit there, maybe. I don't want to tip it too much, but yeah. So really nice. I can already see it starting to get a little bit brown around the edges. It's kind of starting to come, when you're cooking salmon, you'll see the color change as it heats through, and it'll turn from this nice, beautiful orange to kind of a white color. And when that gets about 2/3 of the way up the pan is when we're going to kind of flip it and let it finish on just the other side. So we're doing pretty good here. In addition to the salmon that we got on, so this is on feature.
Yep.
Again, this is a locally raised Atlantic salmon from Hickston, Wisconsin. It's Superior Fresh. We've got it on feature this week for $18.99 a pound. It's a really good deal, and it's a really nice salmon.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's really mild, buttery. I think the big thing about the draw that is to this fish, because we have other farm-raised salmons, but this one is in particular super sustainable. I mean, it's got a low carbon footprint because it's only coming from like 2 hours away.
Yep.
It's all organic feed, not soy-based, which is really nice. The facility, if you check it out, it's super modern, really clean, immaculate facility. Yeah, really, really nice.
So we're getting kind of close to where I want it to be. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a little bit of butter, and I'm going to put this into the pan.
A little bit.
Just a little, just a touch. And this is going to help kind of just give it some nice flavor, as well as sort of accent the browning a bit. And what I'm going to do is, as this starts to melt, is I'm going to take my spoon, I'm going to tilt my pan just a little bit, and I'm going to take this butter and I'm going to start to baste it over the top. Now this is going to get the top cooking just a little bit, which is kind of what you want. You can see it's starting to change color a little. It's going again from that orange to that kind of white. I'm just going to give it a few bastes, and this will help kind of speed up the process. This is a sashimi grade salmon, so I would recommend cooking this to like a medium rare to medium. And you're going to get a really nice, just sort of lush texture on the inside. Really, really fantastic. So we're pretty good. I can see around the edges, you can kind of see the skin that's visible. It looks pretty brown. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick peek here, see what we're looking at. And that is about perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's all said and done. You can see we've got this nice, really, really crispy, firm skin, which is fantastic. I'm going to hit that with just a bit more butter. This will help it kind of continue to brown a little bit, get a little bit more crispy. It's really nice and dark, caramelized around the edges, which again is really what we're looking for. And I'm just going to give this another minute here on this side just to finish cooking through, and we'll be really good to go. In fact, I'm actually going to turn the pan off now because it's kind of done what it's got to do. There's plenty of heat still in the pan, which will carry over and just sort of finish roasting that fish through. So really fantastic. This is a great fish. Highly recommend you try and check it out.
Yeah.
And again, $18.99 a pound this week,
Yep.
locally raised.
Yep.
You can't get much cooler than that. So I highly, highly, highly recommend. In addition to that, we've also got a really cool new smoked salmon in the store this week.
Yeah, the Northern Waters, one from Duluth we were talking about earlier. It's pretty nice. I can't say much more about it that, beyond just come in and try it.
Yeah.
We're
It's
more
got
welcome,
a pretty
we're
unique
willing
texture
do
to it, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Like in terms of what it is. I'm going to pull this salmon from the pan because I think
Kind
they
of
are
reminds
good.
me of the smoked tuna, which is really good. It's in that it's like drier, but also is moist. If that makes sense, because it's kind of like a denser fish, which is really nice. I think what everyone's saying is they think it would be really good in like a spread.
It would. It would make an awesome smoked salmon spread. And it's got a real dense sort of texture to it, which almost, I've been kind of describing it as being almost like salmon ham, which is really cool. That is not to speak a disservice to the fish. It's just it's unique, it's cool, and I think you'll all like it. Again, it's sockeye, so it's really lean, which is what lends to that kind of denser flavor. There's not a whole lot of fat that goes through because sockeye it's probably the leanest of all the salmons. So it doesn't have that to lend that kind of moistness that a lot of other smoked salmon has, especially like Atlantic smoked salmon, which has a lot of fat, helps keep it nice and juicy throughout, even during the smoking process. Whereas this is really dense and cool. You could, again, goes good in spreads, or just chunk it up and eat it again like you would a ham.
Yeah,
make a pretty nice sandwich, I think, out of it.
Oh,
so this is kind of what we're looking for here. You can see, I'll show both Instagram, Facebook. That's really nice salmon, beautifully cooked. Flip it over and you can see that skin. It's got that nice sort of golden brown to it, which is exactly what we're looking for. And we can go ahead and actually check the inside to see how well I did here. So go ahead and sort of cut it open a little bit and dig out a little bit of the middle.
Perfect.
It's a little bit rare yet, but yeah, we're there. Again, we'll let it rest a little bit more too, so that it kind of comes together. It'll continue cooking for a few more minutes, just like any other protein would. So just let it hang and go, and it'll be real nice. So in addition to the pink ribbon oysters, again, $1.25, the Superior fresh salmon, $18.99. The smoked salmon, which is
Northern Waters,
the Northern Waters,
$17.99
$17.99 a pound, and again, that is in Duluth. So very cool. Another local product, local producer, which is awesome.
And I think some people were talking about yesterday that they've been to the place in Duluth, and it's a really awesome smokehouse.
Yep. It's a really well-known place up on the North Shore. So if you get a chance and you're up there, absolutely check them out. Very, very cool. And it's, again, kind of a new thing that we just started working with them on, and so far pretty happy with it. And we'll have some more stuff come the holidays from them, which will be really cool, I think, too. So keep an eye out for that. In addition to that, we're going to have some striped bass.
That's right. I think that's going to be $9.99 a pound this weekend.
And that's whole, right?
That's whole. That's whole. That's going to be really good. Of course, we have a fillet option if you want. If we don't have the fillet on hand, we're always willing to process, fillet, butterfly. We'll always scale and degill any whole fish, especially this one. It makes a great option for stuffing the fish with herbs and aromatics, lemon.
It would be a really good fish to do whole on a grill. I know it might be a little bit weird out this weekend in terms of weather.
It was pretty nice yesterday. I think we might get lucky.
You never know. But yeah, so even if you don't do that though, whole roasted in the oven would also work. If you ever wanted to try doing like a salt crust, it would be really, really good for that too. Salt crusting it's a really beautiful way to cook a fish. You get the most amazing finished texture on the meat. It stays really succulent, really, really nice, and it is not hard. There's many videos out there on the internet on how to do it. Basically, you're mixing salt and water and just encrusting the fish in that and letting it steam in its own natural juices.
It's definitely one of my favorite ways to do fish.
It's beautiful. It's again, it's really, really nice. I cannot recommend doing that enough. And the striped bass, this is from Pacifico Aquaculture, and it is the only true farmed striped bass in the world. Most of the striped bass that you get that's been farmed is actually what they call a hybrid. Right. It's a mixed cross between a white bass, which is a freshwater fish, and a Pacific and an Atlantic like striped bass, like a true striped bass. So again, that's the hybrid bass, and we've carried that in the past. Also a great fish, but this is true striped bass. It's really great. Makes good tacos. Makes good just for searing, kind of like what we did with the salmon. Cook it exactly the same way. Really, really nice stuff. So definitely come in, check that out. Today is also Salmon Thursday. So on top of the $18.99 a pound for the Superior Fresh, you also can get an additional 20% off of that. Well, same with all of our other salmons too. So salmon and whole fish. So the striped bass would also be 20% off. We've got some beautiful snappers in the case. Also, I highly recommend checking those out. Really, really beautiful, good fish.
I think we have some of the whole Murray cod too. That's a newer product too.
That's really been beautiful stuff. The Murray cod is really nice.
It's a sashimi grade cod, which is really nice. Raw, it's pretty tasty.
It is really nice. It's got a really good texture. Speaking of raw fish, tonight actually is our first sushi class in a while. We've got our fall classes back. Tonight is the first one. We still have availability, so if you want to get in on the classes, definitely do that. Facebook, there's Instagram, or there's event pages for that on Instagram. We've got link in the bio to all the classes, so go check those out. We've got some sushi classes coming up. We've got oyster classes coming up, which are always really popular and super fun. We've got some date night classes coming up, so if you want to, you know, take a significant other out for a night on the town, you know, that's a really good way to do it. It's super fun. Or it's not necessarily a couples event. This is the thing I like to try to tell people. If you're looking for a way to maybe surprise a significant other or something like that, you could come down, take the class, learn a few things, get the recipes, and then you can go home and take that sort of knowledge with you. So really fun way to kind of do a little bit of a surprise for somebody, which is cool.
Nice.
So we've got that, and we've also got our Spanish tapas classes coming up. So those are classes for both October and November. So you're going to want to sign up, because after that it'll probably be a little bit of time before we start doing classes again. Hopefully we'll be into our new space by then, and we'll be able to start there. But yeah, but there will be some time. So if you ever wanted to take one of our classes, now is literally the time to get signed up for that. Again, link in bio, or there's Facebook event pages. You can go to our website, coastalseafoods.com, or you can go to our Eventbrite page. All of that information is there in terms of availabilities. And if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, you can feel free to message us, and I will be happy to address any of those. So let's see, what else we got? I think that's most of what we got for the weekend. Again, pink ribbon oysters, $1.25. Portion of those sales all go to breast cancer research, which again is very cool. The local Superior fresh salmon, also very cool. The striped bass, $9.99 wholes, those are great. And the Northern Waters smoked salmon. Again, this would be a great weekend to make like a nice salmon spread for snacking, maybe for the Vikings game this weekend. Good way to do it. So yeah, lots of good stuff. We've got plenty of recipes up on our website too. If you ever have questions or just need ideas on something to make, absolutely do that. If there's something you want to know how to make specifically that we don't have a recipe for, absolutely send us a message, and you know, maybe that's something we can work out for the website.
Yeah,
maybe you're not the only one.
We're always willing to talk about it in the store too. If you come in, all the monikers really love fish, and we love cooking it. I love talking about it.
Absolutely. So check it out. Come on in, pay us a visit this weekend. We definitely hope to see you. Otherwise, we will be back next week with some more fish cookery and some more specials, and who knows, maybe some more events we could talk about that may be coming up. Who knows? The world is our oyster, right? Yeah, yes. I went there, I did it. Fish puns, they're a thing here, people, it's real.
Come for the shrimp, stay for the halibut.
Woo! Oh, there it is. There it is. So, yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching. We always really appreciate it, and we will be back next week with more good times.
Awesome.
We will talk to you then. See ya!